Hello everybody, Greg from Jimmy Joom. Today I have a very exciting video series about how to make your own widgets. This is something I wish I had when I started. The information out there is there's really not there. There's not a lot out there. So so this video series I made teaching people the very, very basics. If you're a very beginner, you've never touched code, this is for you. How to make widgets, custom widgets in StreamElements. In the series, there are 5 videos. So video 1 is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Kind of what are those things? What does each one do? What is each one's purpose within the widget? The very basics of that and how they all connect. Video 2, custom fields. So if you've ever seen in a StreamElements widget on the side, in the settings, maybe like there's a place to upload an image and then all of a sudden that image gets used in the widget, or there's a slider that lets you move something and then the widget updates, or there's some text or a color picker lets you change the color of something in the widget. So that's video 2. It's kind of the custom fields, how to get them into the widget. Let the user customize it a bit. Video 3 is about animation. The different ways you can animate. There's a couple, and kind of like ranking them, which is the best, which is not the best. And then I show you how I do animation in all my widgets. Video 4 is handling events. So when someone follows, someone subscribes, someone donates, someone cheers some bits, stuff like that. How do you listen for, track, and then do something when those events happen? And video 5, the last one, is about chat messages. I go through the process of setting a command, and then if the chatter types in the right command, then we take the text after that and put it into the widget. So kind of just handling chat messages, basically. This is a very basic overview. It's pretty long. It's like, it is complicated. It does get tough. But I made it as simple as I could. If you want to make your own widgets, if you have a widget that you just kind of want to go in and tweak something, maybe this might help you too. This series, it used to be on my other channel, and people seem to like it. It makes more sense on this channel, so I'm moving it over here. And if you see some other branding, that's why. Hope you enjoy. Any questions, just ask in the comments. I'll do my best to help you out. Last thing before I let you get into the video, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, I want to give you a little analogy about how they work. So this is my room. All right, we have a table, we have 4 walls, a window, and a door. That would be HTML. HTML is the structure. HTML says, okay, there's a window, there's 4 walls, there's a table, well, there's 2 tables. That's HTML. CSS is the design. So CSS would design all that stuff. So my window, it tells me where it is on the wall. It tells me how high up it is. It tells me what color it is. This table, CSS tells me that, this part's white. The legs down here are cool and wooden. CSS is the design. It says that there's a poster right there. You can hardly see. HTML, structure. CSS is design. And then JavaScript, in the room analogy, would be maybe like turning on a light, shutting the blinds, turning on the TV, something that changes. Anything that changes is JavaScript. HTML, structure, CSS, design, JavaScript, changes. Enjoy the video. So first, very basics, we're just gonna make a new overlay. So click new overlay. When it comes up, I'm gonna choose 1080p. Now it's blank. So you can come down here, or you can click right here, add widget, static custom widget. All right, and you can see this is it right here. It's a tiny little box. I think it shows like a slider, like it will show who the last donation was, who the last cheerer, the last follow. I think that's what it is, but we're gonna delete it all, so it doesn't really matter. Before we get into that, position and size. I always make mine 1920 by 1080 and put it right in the center. Because if you let people start, so if we do this and we let people do this, it messes everything up. You have to kind of set some constraints, set some bounds. And I always do mine full screen 1920 by 1080, and then I tell people don't move it. If you want to move it, you add it as a browser source and then you move it in OBS. This solves a lot of problems. So there we go, full screen in the center. You can see all the fields. This is a lot. This is okay. Open editor. This is where we have HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all that. We're actually going to leave the HTML, so we're not going to touch this. But if you're curious, this right here, this is loading a Google font, and it's loading Montserrat Google font. And we have a div with a class of main container. We're actually just going to leave that. That's enough. CSS, lots of stuff. Come in here, click, Control A. Control A is select all, delete it. JavaScript, same thing, Control A, delete it. Fields, same, Control A, delete. And data, don't worry about that. Okay, right now we have this div called main container. And if you come back, you see it's nothing. We want to style main container. So in CSS, you can see this is a class. Main-container. To get a class, we use a period. Main-container. And then let's give it a width of 100 VW. So that's view widths. That means the full screen. You could also do, there could be pixels, 100 pixels. You could do percents. There's many different things you could do. But for this, I'm just gonna show you. So we have 100 view width and 100 view height. So the width and the height is 100. And if we go back, still don't see anything. It's there, it's just clear. It doesn't, there's nothing to it. So let's go background color red. There we go. We have our full screen red. Beautiful. So another example, so let's say I change that to 50. There we go. 50 view widths, 50%. All right, let me show you, I'll show you pixels. So let's do 200 pixels by 200 pixels. There we go. Stuck up in the left-hand corner. So let's have a div. We'll use an ID. So the ID is, let's just call it blue box. Okay, and then close the div. Oh, that's not right. Okay. So we have an ID, a div that's below the main container. I'm actually gonna put it inside the main container. So here we go. If I want to do that, Control X is cut, Control V is paste, and I want to indent that with a tab just to kind of keep the structure so we know, so you can look quickly and see that blue box is inside main container. If it's over here, it's not very clear. You gotta start counting the divs and the div, you don't want to do that. So we got main container still in the class. Let's go back to 100 view widths and 100 view height. Okay, so for the class, to target the class, we use a period. To target an ID, we use the pound sign. What was it, blue box? Okay, all right, so first let's get this, there we go, full screen, okay. Blue box. Let's make it a percentage. So we're gonna do 50%, and height, we'll do 50%. And background color, blue. All right, now let's change this 75 view widths, this 75 view heights, and you'll see the blue box change with it. There, it's always gonna be 50% of its parent box, parent div. Okay, so that's, you can see how HTML and CSS connect. So we make the thing, we make the div in HTML, and then we give it a class or an ID, and then in CSS, we style the class or the ID. Now, JavaScript can get crazy. This is where the logic and the programming come in, and there's so many things you could do with this. But I'm just gonna show you how it connects to HTML and CSS. This is very, very beginner. We have this ID, blue box. So I wanna grab hold of it in JavaScript. So I'm gonna do a thing. Actually, I'm gonna call it let box. And this is just, I'm declaring a variable. Can get into that later, but I'm calling it box. Document.getElementById. All right, so this is vanilla JavaScript, and you'll be using this a lot. So what we're doing is gonna put blue box in here, and that's gonna grab this ID right here. So it's gonna grab this div with blue box. Get element by ID, blue box, and I have that div stored in my variable box. So after that, I can say box.style.background color. And that's basically, this is just CSS. So you see this property right here, background color, red, background color, blue. That's what I'm grabbing. The syntax is a little different. It's not like CSS where you do that. So you gotta remember that. It can be a bit different. So box.style.background color equals, and let's change it to yellow. So when we go back, in the beginning it should look like this. It should have a blue box and a red box, but the JavaScript runs last, and it's going to grab the blue box and it's going to change the color to yellow. But it does it so fast. That's the thing. So these little programs, these little widgets you're going to make, it's basically just a list of instructions being run unbelievably fast that it seems to happen instantly. All right, and just one other thing. So let's box.width. Oh no, sorry. Box.style.width equals 90 view widths. Let's see if that works. Okay, so it's making it, all right, 90, it's not a percentage anymore, so it's not taking into account the red box. It's taking into account the whole view. So we're also going to learn that CSS can be very frustrating. It's depending on the parent and the child relationship, and yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. But that is a good first step. So you see HTML, you're building divs, basically blocks, and then CSS is the styling, and JavaScript is anything you want to make move, anything you want to change, any information or color or something that changes. Anything that changes is done through JavaScript. Fields, We'll learn that later.